Peace, love, and blessings, y'all, and welcome to this week's episode of THC Truth Talk with me, Jordan Harter. Alright, so earlier this week, man, I seen some just straight foul shit. Kellyanne Conway, along with other federal scientists and White House officials, to put it blunt, man, they're just spreading lies. You know, this term fake news is so loosely thrown around in today's climate, but that's legitimately what this was. She was claiming that marijuana is laced with fentanyl, just like other drugs such as cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. It's just a ludicrous claim, man, quite simply. This has never been a problem. If that were to be true, how deadly fentanyl is, we've seen that in the past. We're seeing it still today. Somebody would have died by now. And that they go on to state some statistics about how some people that have died with marijuana in their system, but, you know, it doesn't necessarily correlate and tie that to the reasoning of their death. But nonetheless, let me stay on track here. Let's see, she said people are unwittingly ingesting it. It's laced, yeah, and then also she says that it is distributed by itself, it being fentanyl, which is totally true. You can just do that as well. There's only one there's a couple problems, right? The first is that, you know, the epidemic that's going on, it's like there's a crisis. It's kind of like, is this legitimate fear for this specific topic as it relates to cannabis laced with fentanyl? There's some really good quotes I want to touch on, though, that I came across. Northeastern University drug policy expert Leo Beletsky. Quote, "This is part of a wider fentanyl panic that goes beyond having alternative facts and leads to bad decisions," unquote. I mean, it hits it right on the head, you know. It's just kind of, it's propaganda. It's new age reefer madness, man. And then here, Dan Cerrone, I believe that's how you pronounce it, University of Cal professor. He says, "It's crazy that this story is coming from our leaders. It shows that concerns about fentanyl have reached the level of moral panic. Fear outweighs rational evidence. There is scant evidence for cannabis laced with fentanyl." And I gotta keep it real, I did not know what scant means, so I had to go Google it. If you don't, I would suggest you do the same. It's an excellent word to throw into your vocabulary. Here's something interesting, right? U.S. overdoses in 2017 killed approximately 70,000 people. Of those 70,000, at least 30,000 were killed by fentanyl. So, I mean, that's nearly 50%. That's an alarming number. But I found this interesting too. The DEA has never seized marijuana and tested it, and it came back with fentanyl in it. Not once ever. So the DEA's never seen this. So it's like, that's what I mean. If this had any grain of legitimacy, it would have already come to fruition. Like, something would have happened by now. We would have heard about something, but I mean, obviously that's not the case. Also, they kept referring to this study that was done in 2015 in Vancouver that was claiming fentanyl-laced marijuana was killing drug users. But the only problem with that is that coroners did not find one case of this to be true. So once again, another story, another lie. It's all propaganda to just build, well, more like break down cannabis, man. It's just unbelievable, you know. It's kind of like a witch hunt for a plant. I don't understand it. And then here we go. Beletsky, has another excellent quote here. Quote, there's this mistaken belief that law enforcement are experts on the drugs that they are seizing. That's just not the case, and that's part of the problem, unquote. Another, spectacular point, quite honestly. We're just kind of hanging on every word like these are the people that know everything about it, when honestly you're better off talking to, a fucking chemist or some crazy shit like that, because even though the policemen and the law enforcement, they're seeing it, it's like, doesn't necessarily make you an expert on what the drug is or how it affects people or what the actual issue is at hand. So in 2017, there were claims by Canadian officials of fentanyl-spiked marijuana that sparked, confusion and more conversation than anything. But once again, like I stated, there were coroners cannot corroborate one case. So once again, it's propaganda. It's new age reefer madness. Don't buy into that. Buy into this. I got the good shit coming for you all the time. Fresh shit every week. You know what it is, man. And it's genuine. It's nothing but love and reggae vibes. You know what you're getting when you come. That's why you're coming back. I'll see you next week.